All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Michigan Soccer Stadium for a game tonight here on the fading sunset of a fairly lovely but somewhat windy Tuesday. The 18th ranked Michigan Wolverines versus the 16th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My name is Nick Hornberg. Joining me right now in the booth, Adam Birdstein and Charlie Goodwin will join us in the second half.
I think that this game is going to be a really interesting balance of two different play styles. Michigan runs a 4-3-3, and they're a very aggressive team. They're looking to push. Their center midfielders push up often. But then Notre Dame runs a more conservative type of offense. They have a 4-4-2, keeping more people back. And actually, their leading scorer is their center back. With 6 goals, I'm fairly certain all off set pieces. So I think this will be a very interesting test to see which play style ends up being superior.
Indeed, the indeed the Irish, rather, with lined up with banks of 4 today. Very conservative team. Michigan will be a lot more aggressive. Look to use their width. Their leading offensive players are their 2 wingers, Jack Hallahan and Umar Farouk Osman, as the teams take their final team talks before the start of this game. The referees tonight are Dimitar Chavdarov, Michael Kinder, Matthew Kinder, and Leighton Kelly, with Chavdarov as the head referee, the Kinder as the assistants, and Leighton Kelly as the 4th official.
I really think that Michigan needs to get out here aggressive early and stick it to them and really try to insert their will, because Notre Dame's known for grinding it out, slowing the game down. But I think if Michigan can get out aggressive and get ahead early, that would be really helpful in their success.
All right, and we are underway. Correction, no, we are not underway.
They're almost underway. They're just warming up right
passing
now.
The ball around a little bit. Of course, the temperature dropped considerably in the last week or so up here in Ann Arbor. Most of the players, with the exceptions of Michigan's co-captains Ivo Serta, Robbie Mertz, and their right back Austin Swyk, all clad in the sleeves. Notre Dame largely
only one player.
Yeah,
that's surprising.
Notre Dame largely with bare arms, and now we are underway. Key will play it back to Ibarra. Ibarra will sling it out to Jackson Reagan on the left. Reagan will play it back to Mashburn. And Henry Mashburn plays a long ball, well placed. Jack Hallahan, however, unable to come up with it, and it will go out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw. Felician Dumas over at left back will take the throw, and Dumas hoofs the ball up. Bit of a foot race for it, however. Daniel Makuna able to corral it, play it back to Mashburn. Mashburn hoofs another long ball before it's received by Tommy McCabe, before ultimately being knocked down by Ivo Serta and sent all the way back to...
This has just been a game of long balls so far. I'm surprised that they don't look as composed.
Indeed. Now here comes Philip Quinton for the Irish. Will play it up. And once again, the Irish lose the ball in the midfield, and Robbie Mertz will try to control it. Now plays it to Ivo Serta. Serta swings it out to Austin Swyk on the right, however. Another lost ball in the midfield right there.
We really need our midfielders to control this game, because if Notre Dame's going to have 4 in the back, and we need our 2 captains to step up.
And Mukuna able to hoof a ball out of bounds, and it will be another Notre Dame throw. This time, once again, on the left side, the Notre Dame starting left fullback Felician Dumas takes another throw, and now Michigan potentially has a break. However, heavy touch by Kleedke. Farouk Osman forced to take it back. And Ibarra slings it out to Marcelo Borges on the left. Borges looks to cut inside, as he will do a lot. Osman trying to control it. Osman triple marked and ultimately loses the ball to Jack Casey. And once again, almost another bungled possession there by the Irish, and ultimately knocked out of bounds by right back Sean Diedrich for a Michigan throw. Borges will try to play Kleedke into the throw, however, headed away by Diedrich for another Michigan throw, a little bit higher up the pitch. And Borges, easy throw to Mertz. And now Mertz looks to cut inside. Mertz splits 2 defenders. Mertz out to Osman on the left wing. Osman tries to play the cross in.
Ball.
Knocked out of bounds for a corner by number 25, Patrick Berneski for the Irish.
It's tough to whip those balls in across against the Notre Dame back line, because their center backs are so big and can jump so high. They're going to need to play the balls in the ground like they did there. That's a good strategy.
Mark Ibarra from the goalkeeper's right will take. Ibarra, the right footer, will send in an in-swinging corner. And Ibarra delivers. Bodies forward, and strong play by Duncan Turnbull to come up and retrieve the ball.
I think if we can win the set pieces, we can win the game. That's where Notre Dame shines. So if we can put 1 or 2 of those away, I know it's easier said than done, that would be a huge benefit for us.
All right, and Kleedke making Turnbull think a little bit before ultimately deciding to drop kick it, and Reagan able to head the ball clear, and foul called on Michigan. Looks like Kleedke may have gotten a little bit too aggressive.
I don't mind that foul there. It's in a very backwards position, and I think if we can assert ourselves in the middle of the game, in the middle of the field at the beginning of the game, that'll be a nice standard to set.
And Blake Towns loses the ball to Ivo Serta, Michigan's co-captain from Chile, and Ibarra will sling it out to Swike on the right. Serta now to Swike. Serta again on the right side. Serta tries to play it centrally to Hallahan. Hallahan looks to cut inside. Hallahan loses the ball to number 21, Thomas Uland, who ultimately has it knocked back. Unfortunately, Ivo Serta down on the pitch. Referee stops the clock. Serta looks hurt.
That would be a major loss. Our captain, our center midfielder, we need him healthy for this game. Let's hope he's okay.
And Serta sitting up again. Neither team had a whole lot of possession or sustained possession thus far, largely just fighting in the midfield. Only closest thing to a chance, of course, being Michigan's corner.
That's right. Neither team has really been able to put a lot of 1-2 balls together. It's been a lot of booting it up, booting it back. I think that, which is interesting because that's not usually Notre Dame's style of play. They're a very conservative, well-poised team.
And Serta still favoring that leg, however. Looks like he will try to tough it out, and will be an indirect free kick given to the Wolverines. Hallahan takes, and he will just play it back to Turnbull, giving the ball away.
I always liked that they're willing to give it back. It's a nice tradition soccer has that most sports don't have, and it's a nice show of sportsmanship there.
And now Turnbull, once again, Kleedke hanging around. Turnbull drop kicks it up. Borges goes up for it. Borges able to knock it up in the air before falling to Welland, who slings it out to Dumas. Dumas tries to play in McCabe. Towns going for it, however, Borges able to knock it away, and Serta is down again. Looks like and the medical team is coming out. Looks like Ivo Serta's day may very well be done. Tried to play on that leg for a little bit, but appears to have struggled again. Looks like he may not make it past these first few minutes of this game.
It obviously goes without saying, but that would be a major loss for the Wolverines. They really need to dominate the middle of this game. Maybe they might need to change their strategy at this point, possibly change up their formation, losing their star center midfielder, their captain.
And Michigan's coaching staff, head coach Shaka Daly in his 7th season. The staff having words with Robbie Mertz, Michigan's other co-captain, and Umar Farouk Osman comes over for some instructions, potentially talking about their next steps. And yes, Ivo Serta will come off, and it looks like he will be replaced by Michigan by a striker, interestingly enough. Number 9, Mohamed Zaki, missed a fair amount of time in these so far this season due to injury, however, and did not play on Wednesday against Detroit Mercy. However, Zaki looks healthy and ready to come on.
That's a very interesting tactical switch there because, like we said earlier, Michigan's already the far aggressor with 3 up top and 3 in the midfield. So now are they going to run 2 in the midfield, do you think, or are they going to drop someone else back?
If I had to guess, I would say, and Zaki looks like taking a little bit longer to warm up. Play resumes, and it will fall to Duncan Turnbull again. Michigan once again giving the ball straight back. It looks like, if I had to guess, I would say Zaki comes in and plays up top. Kleedke drops into the center with, I would assume Kleedke may actually move back even farther, try to play a 4-4-2 diamond. Kleedke with the support striker, and Mertz as the central attacking midfielder, Ibarra at the pivot, and Hallahan and Osman dropping into the midfield a little bit instead of staying up high on the forward line. And it will fall to the Irish, and it will be McCabe who plays it back to Berneski. Berneski plays it out to Philip Quinton. Quinton to McCabe. Back to McCabe.
This is more what I expected from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This tactical slow.
Oh, and misplay there by Turnbull. Ibarra there to intercept. Robbie Mertz
I take it
brings
back.
it down. Mertz driving back a little bit and tries to play a ball into Borges. Bad pass off target, and the Irish escape. And Towns looking to drive forward against the substantially smaller Mertz, who ultimately decides to play it back to Quinton. Now Towns tries to sling it out to Felician Dumas on the left. Dumas cuts inside. Dumas looking to drive it up. Dumas reverses field over to Diedrich on the right. And to McCabe. McCabe tries to play a long ball out to Dumas. And now Dumas is in on goal, however, knocked away behind the line. A little bit of ambiguity. And it will be a corner kick given to the Irish from the goalkeeper's right.
That was nice composure there by McCuna. We really needed him to stand his ground strong and not flail and get a penalty, and that was well done by him.
And looks like Felician Dumas will take this corner. No, it actually may be Tommy McCabe instead. No, it will be Dumas who will take. But McCabe's still hanging out, it appears. Michigan may take the short, and Mohamed Zaki officially enters the game. Notre Dame not putting a lot of bodies forward.
But you will notice who is forward, number 25, their center back. He is their leading scorer, even from the center back position. And those are essentially all off of these set-piece headers right here, so let's watch out for that.
And Dumas delivers. And headed clear by Jackson Reagan.
He was actually not the intended target there, so that's interesting to see.
And hoofed long by Swike, and it falls to Diedrich, who is way out of position. And now it falls to Hallahan. Michigan has a chance to run. And now Swike going down the side and out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw. Correction, that was Noah Kleedke making the run there, and Dumas very busy on that far touchline with the throw-ins thus far, and it falls to McCabe. Mertz able to recapture the ball, and Hallahan and Mertz 1-2 before playing it back to Swike. Swike tries to play it forward to Osman or Kleedke, but neither one made the run. And Towns loses the ball to Osman. Now Hallahan has an opportunity. Hallahan turns Towns, however, has his pocket picked by Felician Dumas. Dumas plays it up to Thomas Welland, who loses the ball. Strong tackle in the midfield there by Swike.
Now it's time we can counter. We need these counters here.
And Mertz out to Zaki on the wing.
The counterattack plays right into our play style of the aggressive forward nature.
Borges to Ibarra. Slower pass than expected. Completely fooled Welland. And Hallahan tries to play it out to Kleedke. Kleedke has some space on the wing. Kleedke, however, not able to reach that ball, and it will go out of bounds for a throw. Right on that corner.
That is the right idea against the 4-4-2, playing it to the outsides away from the crowded midfield and hoping to whip a ball in eventually for the cross.
And Dumas the throw in to Welland. Welland loses control. Now Michigan has a throw in an advantageous position. Michigan not afraid to use the long throw in situations like this, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Austin Swike standing as far back as he can before going into the forest. And Swike delivers. Not quite there. Dumas will head it clear without any danger. However, it does fall to Ibarra. Ibarra plays it out to Swike. However, bad pass. And it falls to Welland. Swike had no choice but to foul.
That's a smart foul. They're stopping Notre Dame's counterattack. He would have had maybe 2 men back. Good to take a foul in an advantageous spot.
And now Berneski. As you said, Notre Dame's leading goal scorer. And Diedrich. Diedrich tries to play a long ball to Jack Lynn. However, Mashburn able to come out of the box and knock it clear for a Notre Dame throw. Notre Dame at first looking to take this throw quickly. However, Aiden McFadden ultimately deciding against it, and it will be a long throw attempt here by Sean Diedrich.
Interesting this time, their star center back is not coming into the box. So
and long throw is on, however, headed clear by Jackson Reagan. And Notre Dame has a chance. Notre Dame has a goal. Number 21, Thomas Welland, off a rebound from Jackson Reagan's head, able to put one right in the back of the net. Notre Dame up 1-0, 10 minutes into the first half.
That's what they're so good at doing, taking the ball from seems like nothing, from a dead ball situation, and just making something out of it. Sloppy defending by Michigan ends up costing them. And like we said at the beginning of the game, these set pieces, these dead ball situations are Notre Dame's strong suit and could have been Michigan's killer, and right there, that's showing.
And that right there was Thomas Welland's 4th goal. And Ibarra will try to play it long to Zaki. However, good positioning by Sean Diedrich. But now Michigan will repossess. And whatever space they had was covered quickly by Aiden McFadden. And the Irish will reverse field.
You see a bit more purpose here out of the Michigan Wolverines. They kind of may feel like they're pressing a little bit, giving up, conceding a goal so early. And you see a little more pep in their step and some drive to try to win the ball back with every single attempted tackle.
And Towns pressed by Mertz. Towns loses the ball. Strong tackle by Mertz. Now Osmond has space to drive. Osmond takes a heavy touch there, and Osmond goes down. Osmond looking around at the referee, potentially for a penalty. However, it will merely be a Wolverines throw.
I think that's a good no call there. They were both going for the challenge. There was no malintent. He wasn't going for the body.
And Swike plays it to Kleedke. Kleedke, lofted ball, out of bounds. However, took a deflection. Still Michigan's throw. Swike will this time play backwards to Hallahan. And played forward by Ibarra, sliding tackle. But headed clear by McFadden. Then to Casey, who, nobody home, falls back to Michigan. And Ibarra will play it to Jackson Reagan, to Makuna. Makuna looks to drive forward. Makuna plays a long ball. Kleedke played in, but once again, Duncan Turnbull coming off the line to retrieve a loose ball.
I think it's important that we keep playing our game and we don't start just playing long ball over the top again and again. There's still plenty of soccer to be played. We don't need to get the goal back right away. Let's keep playing methodical and it'll work out. Turnbull
drop kicks, and ball goes up in the air. Zaki puts it up in the air instead of trying to take it down. But correction, that was Osmond, and now Zaki, double marked, loses the ball, and it falls to Jack Casey, who will lay it back to Philip Quinton. Quinton will play it out to Felician Dumas. Dumas to Berneski, reverses field. Berneski, low running ball, taken down by Jack Lynn. And now Welland has another drive and another shot. Mashburn able to knock that one away.
That was a nice save there by Mashburn. Quick reaction time.
And now Notre Dame, having scored off their last corner, will take another one. However, this one from the goalkeeper's left. Correction, their goal was actually off a long throw. And corner from the goalkeeper's right, Felician Dumas, Notre Dame starting left back, will take.
This is where having slightly smaller defenders comes into play, especially against the 6'3" center back.
Dumas delivers, headed clear, and Zaki able to knock it away.
Here's a throw in from a similar spot as the last goal. Let's hope we have a slightly better result.
Notre Dame not lining up to take the long throw this time. Dumas will deliver it short to Welland. Welland looking to play it forward. He's got Casey in. Dumas with the low cross, however. Mukana in position, knocks it clear. Another Irish throw. Dumas takes this one quickly. Now to long ball, comes into the box. Borges heads it clear. Reagan tries to knock it away, and it will come off Jack Lynn for a goal kick.
I'd really like for Michigan to be more firm in their clearances. That's always a killer for a soccer team. When you feel like the ball's out, but then you don't put enough through it. That was how the first goal was scored against them, and that was almost trouble again with a sort of half-effort attempt at a clearance that could have taken a poor bounce and ended up in the back of the net.
Mashburn sending most of the team forward, however, then taking it short to Borges. And Mashburn, pressed by Casey, able to knock it away to midfield. Ibarra, once again, keeps it in the Wolverines' possession. Osmond takes a bad touch, and it's knocked away for a Michigan throw by Thomas Welland. And Austin Swike will take from around the halfway line. Swike tries to deliver one forward, and Kleedke peels off Dumas. Notre Dame hoofing it out of bounds again. Swike will have another throw, this time a little bit farther up. And Wolverines taking a moment here. Oh, correction, the clock has stopped, and it appears to be Felician Dumas who is down on the grass. And the referee makes the signal for the medical team to come forward to take a look at Felician Dumas.
Yeah, Dumas is one of their star defenders. That would be a big loss for Notre Dame, and that would leave a hole for Michigan's attacking play style to really be able to get through. They've looked pretty sturdy in the back so far, having more solid clearances than Michigan has, and they've even looked more comfortable passing it around the back, which is something that is always great and opens up opportunities for a counterattack, which is what this 4-4-2 sturdy in the middle is meant to do.
And Robbie Mertz for Michigan coming over after receiving a couple more orders from Shaka Daly. Chad Riley, in his first season on the touchline as Notre Dame's head coach, also delivering from instructions to number 11, Sean Diedrich. And the referee comes back out to check on Dumas. Dumas gets up, and it looks like Dumas will come out as stipulated by the rules. Of course, when the play stops with a player being down, he does have to come out for at least a little bit. However, Dumas not having any issues jogging, very likely he will come back out in a few seconds.
And was he replaced by somebody? I might have missed that.
He was not replaced.
Okay.
He does not appear to have been replaced. And it will be a throw-in for Michigan. And Swike tries to take it to Hallahan. And Hallahan loses it, and Dumas has come back in. And Michigan able to repossess. Jackson Reagan now to Makuna. Makuna plays it back to Reagan. You'll see that a lot. A lot of interplay between Michigan's center backs and their goalkeeper. Makuna looking forward. Now Swike on the wing. Swike back to Makuna. Now Osmond drops deep to receive the ball.
Switches there. Michigan should look to change the field more often. Notre Dame's defense is powering over onto one side, and if they can get the ball across the field, that'll open up the counterattack very nicely.
And now Hallahan pushed down by Dumas, and foul called on Dumas. And Hallahan taking a little bit longer to get up. May have twisted his ankle a little bit, but looks like he will be all right. And now a set piece from just outside the attacking third, and it will be Mark Ibarra who will take. Ibarra, the Wolverines' pivot midfielder. Ibarra delivers into the box. Reagan comes out to meet it, headed clear. And looks like Reagan and Towns may have bumped heads a little bit. Towns down, holding his head. Clock stops yet again. Game really slowed down in these last couple minutes because of players getting hurt.
Just as Notre Dame is so good offensively on set pieces due to their height and due to their jumping ability, defensively it's the same thing. When you're having the same people in the box, it doesn't matter which ends. Getting a ball over them is nearly impossible, and winning a ball over them is even harder.
Now, a foul called on Reagan, so it will be a set piece taken by Turnbull. Turnbull will knock it up, but straight to Austin Swike, and out ahead of Osmond. Dumas able to corral it, and now Towns driving forward. Towns plays in Jack Lynn. Jack Lynn coming out to the right wing, marked by Mukina. Mukina muscles Lynn off the ball, ushers it out of bounds for a Wolverine throw. And Swike, deep in the Wolverine zone territory, will take the throw, delivers it long, looking for Osmond. And it's headed. Kleedke able to bring it down. Kleedke, a little bit of a heavy touch, but Kleedke able to retain possession, playing it back to Jackson Reagan. Reagan driving forward, plays it out to Borges on the left. Borges,
good ball,
tries to catch Kleedke over the top. Kleedke able to keep it down. Kleedke on the wing, however, it's knocked clear, and it will be a Michigan throw.
Bernesky's an absolute brick wall in the back. It's very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to get past him in a one-on-one situation like that.
And the crowd here making some noise for Borges to take a long throw. Michigan puts most of their bodies forward, and the throw is in. Bit of a weak throw. Mertz takes it down, and it's knocked away. Ibarra has it knocked by Welland to Lynn, and now Notre Dame has the break. Towns looking to control it, plays in Lynn. Lynn plays it across to excellent defensive play there by Makuna, preventing Aiden McFadden from completing the break and scoring.
As you said, Michigan had a lot of bodies in the box, which is great if you score, but the counter downside to that is it sets up for the counter just like what just happened.
And now Borges will take it, plays to Ibarra in the center. Ibarra playing it back to Reagan. That'll be the matchup to watch in both boxes tonight off of set pieces. The Michigan 6'5" center back Jackson Reagan versus Notre Dame's 6'3" center back Patrick Berneski. And Borges driving forward. Borges has Zaki on the left wing. Zaki signaling players to come forward. Zaki cuts inside. Zaki, now it falls to Mertz. Mertz, almost in. Mertz going for the cross. Kleedke coming in with the header. Turn pole. Excellent initiative play right there, knocking it down to the ground and holding and clutching the ball to his chest.
Notre Dame starting to slow it down here and maybe trying to control the game in the speed that they want, this more methodical style of play.
And long ball by Turnbull headed back down to Henry Mashburn. Mashburn plays it short to Reagan. Reagan tries to play a ball up. Good ball to Hallahan. Hallahan able to turn Towns, but not for long. Foul called on Towns. And the clock stops. Referee may pull out a card here. No, he will not. It will simply be a foul. And taken quickly by Ibarra, Reagan passes it straight to Jack Casey before Borges is able to re-corral it and send it back to Mashburn. Mashburn looking to reverse the field of play, however, ultimately plays a long ball headed up in the air by Diedrich. Borges able to play it up. Borges again, and foul called on Jack Casey. Appeared to have interfered with Borges while his feet were off the ground, and it will be another free kick for Michigan at the halfway line. Reagan likely will take this short. No, he plays it to Zaki on the left wing. Zaki plays it back to Marcelo Borges. Borges to Ibarra. Ibarra cutting backward and now to Makuna on the opposite side. Makuna to Osman. Osman, another heavy touch by Osman, loses it to Jack Lynn, but Mukuna able to repossess. Mukuna now to Osman, to Swike. Swike, no space, double marked, and it will go out of bounds for another Michigan throw.
Borges might not get the attention that some of the other Michigan soccer players receive, but so far in this game, at least, he's been a real spark coming down that left side. He's been up there with every ball, challenging every 50-50, and I'd like to see him continue that throughout the game.
And Spike delivers after a little bit of a pinball. It will fall back. Ibarra will try to loft it forward, but ultimately losing it. Now Welland tries to play a break to Lynn, but Makuna once again in position back to Mashburn. Mashburn, quick long ball, trying to catch Notre Dame out, unsuccessful, however. Now, and foul called on Swike for a push on Welland. Notre Dame will have a set piece just across the halfway line.
Both teams have now had blatant pushing fouls in the last minute, and both teams have not been happy with the call. But you just cannot extend your arms. You can get away with a lot in soccer, shoulder-to-shoulder contact, stuff like that. Once you extend your arms, though, it's game over. The ref's going to call it 10 times out of 10.
And 20 minutes into this first half, Notre Dame up 1-0, and it will be McFadden who will ultimately play that free kick backwards to Berneski, now to Towns, and back to Quinton. Quinton looks to drive forward, loses the ball to Osman. Zaki tearing down the wing, however. Now he's one-on-one with Diedrich, who knocks it out of bounds for a Michigan throw. Borges will once again step up on that left side to take a throw. Michigan putting bodies forward once again. There goes Jackson Reagan, Michigan 6'5" center back, having scored on a header off a corner kick on Wednesday against Detroit Mercy. And the long throw is in, straight at Reagan, however, headed clear by Diedrich. Ibarra looking for a long shot, and it will bounce back to Makuna, who will just put it up in the air. Kleedke goes up for it, but falls to Ibarra. Ibarra loses the ball, but foul called on the Irish, and Ibarra will be down, clutching his foot a little bit. However, no obvious signs of pain. Looks like he will get back up.
I like that attempted long shot from Ibarra. Notre Dame's defense has been rock solid in the back, and they haven't really had many openings to weave little through balls through. So if you can get a shot on goal, even if it's from far out, I think it's definitely a good idea to always take it.
And Ibarra will play a ball into the box on the right wing. Headed up in the air. Hallahan charging for it. Hallahan able to control it, plays it back to Swike at the edge of the box. Swike plays a box in. Makuna goes up for it, heads it over the net. Goal kick to Notre Dame.
That's where the height of Berneski is just so great, because we have a pretty big guy there going up for a header, but he looks like nothing compared to Berneski. He stands at 6'1", and he was still towered over by number 25 there, captain center back.
And goal kick played forward by Turnbull to Towns. Now to McCabe before Dumas knocks it long. Headed up in the air by Makuna, out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw on the left side. Dumas, we haven't said his name in a little bit, will take the throw. And Dumas takes the throw, and it will go almost all the way to the touchline. It will go all the way past the touchline. It will be ushered out by Makuna, and it will be a goal kick to the Wolverines.
That ability with Makuna just right there to shield the ball, to let the ball roll out, is very, very underrated in the game of soccer. It can dictate a few possessions, and those few possessions can end up dictating games, especially when it's in your back end. So well done there by him. And
Reagan, Mashburn, and Ibarra living a little bit dangerously there. Notre Dame pressing very high. Mertz able to keep it under control. Ibarra able to sling it out to Borges. Borges and Mertz driving forward now. Zaki by himself has some space on the left wing. Zaki looks for the cross. Kleedke and Osman are up. Kleedke plays a cross in, almost looked like he went straight for goal. And Turnbull, very easy play for him. Turnbull sends the numbers forward. Kleedke once again will hang out. Make Turnbull think about it a little bit. Turnbull will send it up. Reagan tries to head it back, but gets over him. Borges able to turn. Lynn.
Good composure by Michigan's defense. Good. Switch the field.
And now
that's what they need to do more.
Switch field. Swike to Hallahan. Hallahan hasn't spent much time on the ball. Hallahan driving forward initially stops and plays it back to Swike. Swike now back to Makuna. Switches field to Reagan. Reagan now to Mertz at the halfway line. Reagan slings it out to Borges on the left. Borges finds Hallahan with, correction, Kleedke with some space. Kleedke bowled over by Berneski, and now Michigan will have a free kick just on the right side in a bit of a dangerous area for the Irish.
Again, Berneski's complaining about the call, but you can't do that. You just simply cannot extend your arms. When you're defending the player, you have to go in with your shoulder, go in with your chest. It has to be a clear attempt at the ball, and that was a blatant attempt at the body.
And Ibarra, having scored a penalty kick last week against Detroit Mercy, have a bit of a decision to make. Michigan puts numbers forward. And it will be an in-swinger, as Ibarra is right-footed. It's on the goalkeeper's right. Interesting to see if he goes directly for goal. Turnbull giving him a little space. Ibarra delivers. Looks like he went straight for goal, headed clear by Berneski. Borges with the half volley over the net. Goal kick, Notre Dame.
See, you saw Borges put his hand up there in apology, but like I said earlier, it's been difficult getting shots on goal. I don't mind that shot at all, even if it was from a little bit outside of the box. Maybe take a touch or two and try to compose yourself and settle down a little more. But the shot from that distance, I think, is a good one.
And Notre Dame just made their first substitution of the game. Incoming number 22, Ian Asheris. Out comes Jack Lynn as Notre Dame tries to play a break right there. However, Mashburn and Borges able to control. Mashburn sends it clear. And Borges and Zaki with a 1-2. And Zaki brought down by Towns. Michigan howling for a foul, and they get it. And Zaki looks like his shoe may have come untied. Taking a minute there, and play looks like it's about to restart. With 20 minutes left in this first half, Notre Dame up 1-0. Reagan to Robbie Mertz. Mertz driving forward. Now Borges on that left wing. Borges looking for space. Borges takes it to the touchline. Knocked out for a corner.
Borges just keeps on creating. Whenever he touches the ball, it seems like something good's happening. Let's try to make the most of this corner.
Borges, of course, a very important player to Michigan's conference title winning team last season, and started off the season important. However, between injuries and the emergence of Jack Hallahan and Umar Farouk Osman, Borges just retreated a little bit to the periphery in this conference season, and now Ibarra will deliver in-swinging corner. Turnbull once again coming to punch it away. Zaki was in good position for a header, And Ibarra tries to play another one in, however, nobody ready for it, and it goes all the way through. Goal kick.
There really haven't seemed to be that many actual threatening opportunities off these set pieces. Notre Dame's defense, their back line is just so big and so strong. I'm wondering if maybe Michigan should start to look for a different strategy on the corner kicks instead of the classic in-swing, or maybe go short and try to play something through, or play it up top and go for a long shot, something else to just change up the pace a little bit.
And numbers crowd at midfield as the goal kick sent forward, now played up in the air almost, well, not almost, off into the trees behind the Michigan student section. Long throw in by Michigan. And it falls to Jack Casey for the Irish. Now to Towns, back to Dumas. Dumas knocked out of bounds by Jack Hallahan. Notre Dame throw taken quickly by Dumas. And McFadden unable to connect with Welland. Makuna able to play it back to Mashburn, who will knock it long, and it will fall to the ground. Dumas able to control it before Ibarra able to head it clear. Now Kleedke has a little bit of space. Now to Mertz. Mertz plays it to Osman. Osman is in. Osman, another uninspiring first touch, and Kleedke forced to deflect a clearance out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw.
You see Osman's mad at himself. You know he's a talented player. He's Michigan's leading point scorer, Michigan's leading goal scorer with 7. He's better than that, and he knows it. I think he'll pick it up as the game goes on. As he gets a little more comfortable out there.
And ball bouncing off Thomas Welland's head before Mukuna able to repossess it and play it back to Henry Mashburn. Mashburn weighing his options. Reagan is lateral, and Reagan pressed high by Jack Casey, able to switch field out to Mukuna, and now Hallahan takes it. Comes back Ibarra. Playing it up to Swike. Now Swike has room to run. Swike looking for a pass. Swike plays it up to Osman. Osman's in at the right wing with some space. Osman looking for the cross. Osman cutting in. Osman plays it to Kleedke, tries to volley it, however, unable to connect, and it will be knocked clear by Philip Quinton. And Dumas will take it on the left wing, tries to play it in, but Mertz there to intercept, and Mertz has it knocked up in the air and put out of bounds. Notre Dame throw.
Osman already started to look a little bit more comfortable there. He looked calm and composed and played a nice ball in. It was a good chance to have the ball end up in the back of the net, but sadly it cannot be.
And Notre Dame will use another substitution. Aiden McFadden will come off for Sean McLeod from Troon, Scotland. And each team, Notre Dame used 2 subs against Michigan's 1. Of course, Michigan replacing the injured Ivo Serta with Mohamed Zaki. And Reagan able to hoof a ball forward, but Berneski up to play it back. And now Jack Casey tries to play it to Welland. Welland, of course, scored the first goal off a long throw. And Towns not committing, and as a result, Michigan repossesses the ball. Hallahan looking for some space. Hallahan to Osman. Osman able to turn, and now Zaki with a cross in. Kleedke going up for it. Dumas able to head it away, and now Jack Casey will put it up in the air. Reagan able to knock it back down. Borges and Zaki coming forward. Zaki. Borges not making the overlapping run. Borges able to play it back to Makuna at the midfield. Makuna pressed high by Welland, who will play it back to Reagan. Reagan switches field out to Swike. Swike has a little bit of space. Once again pressed by Welland. Hallahan coming up to meet him. Hallahan to Ibarra. Ibarra plays it to Swike on the right. Michigan moving through that right wing a heck of a lot in this first half.
Hold-up play. They need to do this more often.
Hallahan to Mertz. Mertz plays it out to Osman. Osman has a little bit of space marked by Dumas. Then the cross in. Zaki at the far post. Not quite able to get there.
That Osman-Zaki connection goes back a little further than many people may know. They're actually from the same town in Ghana, and both came here to the United States from the Right to Dream program and have been playing with each other for a long while.
And now another goal kick for the Irish. And the drums sound from the Michigan Ultras as Turnbull sends it back. Borges able to knock it down, and it falls to Mertz, trying to play a pass to Ibarra, unsuccessful, and Reagan a sliding foul on Ian Asheris, and referee stops the clock, and that is going to be a yellow card First of the game for either team to Jackson Reagan. Very likely well-deserved.
The yellow card is issued to Michigan's 25, Jackson Reagan.
And Notre Dame will have a free kick just at the border of their attacking third.
Again, you see number 25, the dreaded Berneski, going up for the set piece. We got to watch out. Hopefully he does not put away goal number 7. Look for the ball to go to his head.
And Berneski marked by Reagan. Reagan has 2 inches of height on Patrick Berneski as the wall takes shape. The delivery will be from McCabe, sent up way too far, and it will go out for a goal kick. Correction, that was by Sean McLeod. And the Irish will give it straight back to the Wolverines. 15 minutes left in this first half. Notre Dame making another 2 subs. Out comes Blake Towns and Thomas Euland. Euland, of course, scoring the first goal. In comes number 9, John Rhea, and number 29, Mohamed Omar.
This is where the college rules take a major shift from the professional rules, the ability to constantly be subbing players and get some fresh legs onto the pitch. It's nice and keeps the game more lively and full of action.
Hallahan plays it out to Swike, who tries to find Kleedke down low. Kleedke takes a heavy touch, and Zaki will run forward, however, Dietrich able to knock it clear. Makuna will try to play it forward to Hallahan. Hallahan with a back heel to Osman. Osman at first not ready for it, but now Osman driving forward has space. Marked by Dumas. Osman cuts inside. Will play it back to Swike. Swike back to Hallahan. Hallahan on the left wing, on the right wing, will try it himself. Hallahan looking for an in-swinging low cross to Kleedke, however, knocked clear by Berneski. And once again, Michigan able to retain possession. And Ibarra will play it forward. However, Hallahan running back, nobody home. It will go all the way through for a goal kick.
That was some solid build-up play, though, by Michigan, something we haven't seen that much. We've seen them look to counter a lot after Notre Dame's been pushing up, but it's nice to see that they're settling down, playing the ball around, and looking for the best opportunity, not just an opportunity to attack.
And Turnbull with yet another goal kick will play it far, headed in by Makuna, however, foul assessed to Makuna, and Notre Dame will have another free kick from the halfway line. And it will fall to McLeod, who will play it to McCabe. Back to Quentin to Berneski. Berneski tries a long ball to Asheris. Asheris slips and falls off target anyway, and Mashburn will roll it to Makuna.
That's been a trend in this game. A lot of quick plays off of what could be long punts or long free kicks. They're looking to just get the ball going and maybe kick it 6 or 7 feet and just get the play starting and building from the back. And
now Ibarra will switch field and play it out to Borges on the left. Borges tries to play in Mertz. Heavy touch there. Pass a little bit off target. Borges on the ground asking for a foul.
That was a very late call. I don't know if I've seen a call like that in a while.
The only thing I could think of was maybe the referee thought Michigan would win the ball back.
Yep, got the advantage.
And play the advantage. Yep. However,
they did not.
Not even close. And Michigan will take a free kick. Borges will look to take it. Looking to switch field and plays it ultimately down to Zaki. Zaki has a little bit of space. Plays it back to Mertz to Borges. Borges will cut inside. Borges hits the deck.
The whistle was not. Wow.
No whistle blown. Borges crying for a foul or for the game to stop. And good sliding tackle by Ibarra on Asheris.
And now Borges is uncovered if they
and
find
now
him. Oh.
Zaki with the long shot. Just saved by Duncan Turnbull. Zaki tried his luck and almost got it, and it will be a Michigan corner.
Ironically, after me saying time and time again, I don't mind the long shot. Well, that was a nice shot. Borges was wide open with nothing but green in front of him if he just found him there.
Borges pleading his case to the referee to get a foul called, or maybe even a card assessed to Asheris.
Borges might have played that up a little bit, but I thought it was definitely a clear trip. That's where something like flopping kind of hurts your cause, because while yes, it was a penalty, if you're going to over-exaggerate it that much, then they're just not going to believe you. It's how much the boy who cried wolf sort of situation.
And Ibarra will take this corner. Ibarra hesitates. And in comes the in-swinger. Mukuna goes up to mean it. And Hallahan with a volley. Hallahan almost has it fall in. Zaki trying to head it, but flashes it across the net, and it will go out for a Notre Dame throw.
That's where corners are often so scary. While it isn't the first ball, my high school coach used to always stress winning the second ball. When it first hits off someone's head, off their neck, off their whatever, then the second ball coming out still needs to get cleared. Once you hit the first attempt, the play is far from over, and that's how Michigan conceded their only goal of the game.
And knocked long by Omar just to get some breathing room for the Irish. 10 minutes left in this first half. Notre Dame clinging to a 1-0 lead. Mashburn will play it to Mukuna. Mukuna will try and play it long to try and get in Osman over the top. A little bit too short, and Osman 1-2 with Hallahan. Osman coming back, playing it back to Mukuna. Osman dropping deep. Osman will turn past Jack Casey, ultimately playing it back to Mukuna.
Good.
And Mukuna,
field. That's what they need to do.
Long ball switching field to Zaki.
Overlap is there.
Excellent control by Zaki. Borges is in, goes for the cross, knocked out of bounds for a corner.
That's exactly what Michigan needs to start doing. That switch, especially from the right side to the left side, is there every single time down the field. And with the two playmakers, Zaki and Borges on that side, good things can happen.
That's the first time really Borges was a goal threat on the overlapping run, and Ibarra will stand at the corner flag yet again from the goalkeeper's right.
I'd like to look to see Borges overlap a little more from the left side. He's a talented player. He's comfortable with the ball.
Ibarra delivers. Reagan with the header, and diving catch by Duncan Turnbull. Jackson Reagan, having scored a header off a corner on Wednesday against Detroit Mercy, looked to make it 2 games in a row with a corner off a dead ball.
That's interesting. You see there, that ink swinger was more to the outside of the box than usual, and that was Michigan's first real actual attempt at goal off a corner. I'll look to see them do that more often, get it away from the big bodies of Berneski and company.
Michigan has no shame with their corner strategy. They essentially put Jackson Reagan somewhere in the box and then have Ibarra aim straight at him.
That's right. Essentially what Notre Dame does with Berneski as well.
Interestingly enough, all of Michigan's corner kicks have been on the goalkeeper's right side. On the left side, Jack Hallahan is more liable to take the corners, being the left footer, and Borges will cut inside, look to drive forward, and now Hallahan pass off target, but Borges able to recover and play it to Umar Farouk. Osman reverses field, has the space, plays it out to Zaki on the left wing, marked by Diedrich, tries to nutmeg Diedrich, but Diedrich in position. Now Reagan, a foot race, sliding tackle, excellent play, but Asheris recovers. Asheris nutmegs Mukuna, Reagan able to corral it. Asheris in on goal, and clock stops. Charge called on Asheris.
That was scary. The refs sort of bailed them out there. Not that it wasn't a penalty, but that was a very dangerous opportunity, and Michigan got lucky that the refs decided to make that 50-50 call.
Indeed, Dimitar Chavdarov arguably preventing a goal without really question preventing a goal right there. Notre Dame had
none.
Michigan had nobody on the other side.
But just like I was saying there, the center back was able to make a nice play on the first ball, making that slide tackle, getting it away, but then he couldn't. Then the play isn't over. Notre Dame's attacker got the ball back, and then it was almost a goal opportunity. Soccer, you could just never, ever, ever give up on the play until the ball's out of bounds, the ball's in the back of the net.
And Mashburn will launch it forward, and it will fall to Hallahan. Hallahan moves out to the right where there's a little bit more space. Swyke is on the overlap. Hallahan cuts inside as he is known to do. Mertz will possess it. Mertz looking to drive forward, moving laterally. Mertz to Hallahan. Hallahan has a little bit of space. Once again, Hallahan turning Omar. Mertz in the center. Mertz out to Swyke. Swyke with the high cross, too far, and it will fall to John Rhea, who will hit it clear, and it will fall back to Reagan behind the halfway line. Reagan looking back at Mashburn before playing it laterally to Mukuna. Mukuna on the opposite side of the field, driving up, marked by Jack Casey. Hallahan takes a heavy touch, but Hallahan able to recover, and foul called for dragging down Muhammad Omar.
Again, there's all this complaining and whining to the referees, but most of these calls that I've seen so far have been blatant. It's just contact that is simply not allowed. within the rules of soccer.
Indeed, Dimitar Chavdarov calling a relatively strict game, but
I haven't been too upset with any of the calls that he's made so far.
yeah, but a game by the book, no doubt. Right. And Dumas will just play it long, tries to get a Sheris over the top, but Mashburn comes off the line to retrieve it. And Mashburn takes it out a little bit, pressed by a Sheris before he decides to hoof it far into the attacking third. Osmond puts it up into the air. Kleedke able to take it down, and Kleedke giving it away. Now Omar to Dumas, to Jack Casey. Casey plays it back to Philip Quinton. Quinton.
That's a dangerous play.
Turns Kleedke.
Just barely.
Quinton pressed again by Kleedke, and Asheris able to knock it to Casey. Casey driving forward towards the center. Casey plays in Asheris. Asheris in good position. Asheris tries to turn Reagan, but ultimately the Wolverines able to come away with it. Attempted clear by Makuna, knocked down by McLeod, but again, Makuna recovering and knocked up in the air. Omar heads it back, and now it's to McLeod and to McCabe. Now out to Diedrich on the right.
Good composure by Notre Dame's back line, playing the ball around, waiting for the best opportunity to arise.
And Diedrich will play it back to Berneski. Berneski will just play a ball over the top to Rhea. Rhea actually has some space before Reagan able to come in and head it clear for a Notre Dame throw. And a long throw from the right side, the same play that led to Notre Dame's first goal.
This game has been very oriented on this one side of the field. Michigan's left, Notre Dame's right, with Berneski back there for Notre Dame playing those balls through. And then with Borges and Zaki up top for Michigan. It's been a very left.
And in comes the long throw, headed up into the air, and this time Michigan will not concede off it, and Zaki will take it, actually, and will play it to Borges on making the beginnings of an overlapping run. However, Borges unable to contain it, and Jack Casey picks his pocket. Notre Dame will try another ball over the top. This time Borges in position to knock it down, a little bit off target. Mertz coming into play clear. Now Asheris is in. Asheris has a little bit of space, and triple mark there collides with Makuna and shot from distance over the net by McLeod. And it will be another goal kick to the Wolverines.
A lot of times you saw there Michigan pleading for a penalty, for a foul, not necessarily a penalty. You see them start to give up and pay less attention to the actual game and more attention to why the referee didn't make a call they wanted to make. But I'm glad that they still didn't take their attention off the ball and waited for the ball to be out of play before they made their case.
And Mashburn's kick beyond the halfway line. Hallahan will try to take it down, but it's knocked clear by Dumas. And Mukina able to put it up in the air. Ibarra knocks it down once again to Dumas. But wayward pass there. McLeod trying to keep it in, but it's a Michigan throw on the right side. Swike will deliver it long, trying to play in Kleedke. Not enough power on that. Dumas once again in good position to head it down. And Swike plays a sliding pass to Kleedke, who tries to keep it down and actually succeeds. Kleedke gone to ground 3 times, and Mertz on the press, able to knock it away from Quinton, but Mertz going to ground himself, unable to keep the momentum, and Notre Dame able to knock it back down, give themselves some breathing room. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Notre Dame still up 1-0.
That play, it simply looked like Michigan wanted more. They were the first ones to ever 50-50 ball, and even though it didn't end up going their way, if they keep that intensity up for the rest of the 47 minutes or so of this game, good things will happen.
Kleedke to Osmond. Osmond has some space on the right side. Osmond will play it back to Hallahan. Hallahan can score from this distance. Hallahan going for the shot, knocked down by Omar, and knocked out of bounds for a Michigan throw.
It's dangerous whenever the ball's on Kleedke's left foot. He can put it in from pretty much anywhere past half midfield.
And now Swike. Hallahan standing in close, but it looks like Michigan will put bodies forward. They will try the long throw. And Swike will deliver. Far ball. Reagan goes up for it. Reagan tries to put it down, but a bit too far away. Hallahan able to control it. Hallahan back to Swike. Swike will cut inside. Swike with a low cross, but McCabe in good position. And Ibarra comes down to control it. Ibarra puts it up in the air. Hallahan on the left wing has a little bit of space against McLeod. Hallahan, low cross, knocked out of bounds for a corner. Finally, a corner on the keeper's left for the Wolverines. Jack Hallahan will take it.
Let's see if this new style, this new strategy, or hopefully a new result.
Robbie Mertz, an unheralded threat in the air, having scored against South Florida off a Hallahan cross. Mertz coming up to meet that header, but ultimately knocked in the air by Makuna over Mertz's head, and Turnbull able to jump up and retrieve it, and 2 Irish players are down.
I didn't exactly see what happened there. Possibly people could have butted heads, or maybe an awkward landing on an ankle or something along those lines.
Well,
they're okay.
Players were already on the ground when Makuna put it up into the air. When Turnbull came out to grab it, he may have hit one of his own teammates while they were down.
Yep.
One of the players down was Sean Diedrich. He is up and appears to be okay. The other one appears to be Felician Dumas.
That's right, yep. He has been one of their key players in this game. He's really been the instigator of getting the ball from one end to the other of the field. That would be a major loss for the Irish if he was out of this one for any sort of extended period of time.
And the medical team out once again. And it looks like Dumas will be helped back up. I don't see anybody warming up on the Notre Dame sideline. Now some instructions being given to the bench.
He's still down. I don't think I've even seen him move. This is not looking good for the Fighting Irish. I think he might be done for tonight.
Indeed. Not impossible here. It looks like he may be, yes, Dumas is sitting up, but he has yet to get to his feet. And now he will be helped up. And Dumas with a high five from Turnbull. Looks like his day may be done, however. Should be noted, Dumas not having issues walking or jogging. Though it did look like the way he was curled up, it appeared his injury may not have been to the lower body. And he will be replaced by number 3, Spencer Farina, at least for the end of this first half. It remains to be seen if Dumas will play the rest of this game. Now, play will resume. Less than a minute left in the first half here at the Michigan Soccer Stadium. Notre Dame up 1-0 as the sun sets ever further here on this Tuesday evening, and knocked far by Turnbull, and it's Kleedke. Now Zaki has a little bit of space on the left side. Borges trailing behind, but a bit far. Zaki looking to play it in himself. Zaki having scored on a set piece earlier in the season from that distance, but ultimately Notre Dame able to control it. Reagan knocks it back down. Ibarra not able to keep it down, puts it way up in the air, and Rhea tries to control it before it goes out of bounds for a Michigan throw on the left side. Borges looking to take it quickly. Borges will play it long. Kleedke has a little bit of space on the left side. Kleedke tries to take a cross at it and scuffs it, and out of bounds it goes for a goal kick. Very likely this goal kick will not even be taken, as 10 seconds left in the first half. And Turnbull has no inclination of taking this kick. And there it is. There's the whistle. The first half ends here at the University of Michigan Soccer Stadium, as college soccer dictates the clock can stop in the case of injuries or the dispensing of cards. However, there is no injury time. And we will take a 15-minute break. The score going into halftime, Notre Dame 1, Michigan 0. All right, everybody, welcome back to the U of M Soccer Stadium here. About a minute or so out from the recommencement of the game. Second half, Notre Dame up 1-0. Adam Bernstein will stay on this call. However, I, Nick Hornberg, will sign off, and Charlie Goodwin will take the reins for the duration of the second half.
This is Charlie Goodwin here at the University of Michigan Soccer Stadium, where, as Nick Hornberg said, we're about to start the second half of a 1-0 match against Notre Dame being the 1, Michigan being the 0. Adam Bernstein is still here color commentating by my side. Adam, what are your thoughts on this Michigan soccer team through the first half?
I think a big story of the game is the shots versus the opportunities taken. What I mean by that is Michigan currently has 8 shots, I believe 2 on goal, and Notre Dame has 3 shots and 2 on goal. But Michigan, even though having a 5-shot advantage, is currently losing in the game 1-0. And that just goes to show you that it doesn't matter how many opportunities you have, it's the opportunities you actually take.
Yep, Notre Dame's only goal, and the only goal of the game, of course, came on that long throw-in, where the second ball was put in by Thomas Euland. And we are about to start the second half. Michigan going with the same lineup as the first half.
I think a big storyline to watch for in the second half is whether or not Michigan starts to change their pace of play and the way they play. Maybe change their formation a little bit to be more aggressive instead of going with the classic 4-3-3. Put in more people up top.
Long ball by Notre Dame, headed by Jackson Reagan. That is Jackson Reagan on the left with the ball, kicks it out of bounds before a Notre Dame throw-in.
Starting off, Michigan looks a little less composed than it did before half. I'd like to see them get back to the calm and composed, cool style of play, playing on the back.
Notre Dame with the throw, headed by Jackson Reagan again. Now that is Mohamed Zaki with the ball, over to Robbie Mertz. Mertz over to Jack Hallahan. Hallahan controlling the ball, moving forward. Hallahan puts it into Osman. Osman kicks it over to Swike, and it is kicked out of bounds for a Notre Dame goal kick.
That's the kind of play they're going to need. I like moving it in towards the middle of the field with the build-up, and then once you get towards the final third, passing it back out to the wing to eventually put a ball back into the middle. Going up against this tough and big and strong and tall Notre Dame back line, they're going to need to move the ball all around the field and try to confuse them because they're just not going to be able to go straight through them.
Duncan Trunchbull boots it downfield. Controlled by Notre Dame. Out to the right side of the field. Controlled by Osman. Osman over to Mohamed Zaki, and kicked out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw-in. Thrown in deep, headed by Jackson Reagan.
There's Peter Borges again. He just seems to be everywhere on the ball. He's their true spark in this game. And if they can reward his effort and put a goal in, that would be very nice.
Felician Dumas with the ball. We've heard his name a lot this game. Over to Philip Quentin. Philip Quentin with a boot down the sideline to Jack Lynn. Jack Lynn controlling, fighting for it, and Robbie Mertz is in the corner.
Playing into the middle is scary. We've been told since kindergarten soccer, don't play the ball until the final third.
Now Notre Dame controlling it. That is Ian Ashiris with the ball. Falls down. And it will go out of bounds for a Michigan throw-in, which will be taken by Austin Swike. Swike over to Osman. And headed out by Notre Dame. Down the sideline to Ian Asheris, and it is controlled by Michigan now. Ibarra to McCuna. McCuna long ball to Osman, can't quite get it.
Ooh, that was a so-so call. I'm not sure if I like that one too much. Oh wait, no, it was on Mish.
Tommy McCabe will now take the kick. Oh, my bad. Felician Dumas will now take the kick.
Dumas for Notre Dame seems to serve a similar role as Borges here.
Dumas has it blocked by Kleedke and kicked out of bounds by Philip Quentin for a Michigan throw-in.
Both left backs are not afraid to get involved. They often both take set pieces, and they really like to push up the pitch.
Austin Swike with the throw-in, headed by Felician Dumas. Swike controls it. Oh. And that is Jack Hallahan with the ball. Hallahan trying to weave through a couple defenders, and it's taken away by Notre Dame. And Felician Dumas with the ball. It is deflected by Swike over to Osman. Osman can't seem to quite get it, and now Notre Dame's going the other way.
I'd really like to see more out of Osman this game. He needs to create more for his team. He is their playmaker, and he really hasn't shown me all that much.
Ian Asherish tripped up. That would be a foul on Captain Robbie Mertz.
I know all that Osman brings to the table. He's proven it time and time again with 7 goals and 17 points this season. I'd like to see him take this game a little more into his own hands and maybe try to beat a man or two instead of just passing the ball off once he gets to the back line of Notre Dame.
Set piece to be taken by Tommy McCabe. McCabe kicks it over to the right winger. Back to McCabe. Over to Philip Quentin, who kicks it to Felician Dumas. Dumas to McCabe. McCabe to Dumas. Dumas down the left side to Jack Lynn. And it's taken away by Marcelo Borges. Now Borges is going down the left side over to Mohamed Zaki.
But there again, as Borges is creating and making something happen. Good composure in the back here for the Notre Dame back line. They're not afraid to play it around and not necessarily play with it, but move the ball around and look for a good opportunity to attack.
Long ball goes to Henry Mashburn. Mashburn controls it and kicks it over to Ibarra. Ibarra to Reagan. Reagan on the left side. Kicks it over to Captain Robbie Mertz. Mertz to Swike. Swike down the right side line to Osman. Osman trying to cross it and gets it deflected and kicked out of bounds by the Notre Dame defender for a Michigan throw-in.
That's exactly what I wanted Osman.
Thrown in by Swike. Hallahan with it. He's a lefty, so this is his side. Hallahan with the ball again, trying to get it into that scoring opportunity. Kicked out to Ibarra. Ibarra to Jackson Reagan. Reagan has the ball now over to Marcelo Borges, who crosses it in, and it will be picked up by Duncan Trunchbull, and now Michigan must play on defense.
Well, that's a good idea, and Michigan definitely does need to start pressing and attacking more a little bit as this half starts to wind down with the deficit. Those long balls over the top are not going to work against Notre Dame's tall back line.
Headed by McCuna and then headed again by Mertz. Controlled by Osman. He's flying down the field now. Goes to the middle. Through ball to Kleke and deflected by Philip Quentin for a Michigan corner kick.
That's exactly what Osman needs to do. He needs to be the catalyst and the playmaker for this Michigan offense. He took it on himself, beat a man or two, and then laid the ball off. And if he can continue to do that, good things are going to happen.
It appears the corner kick will be taken by Jack Hallahan, the lefty for Michigan. He is tied in points with sophomore Umara Osman. And Hallahan the kick, headed by Jackson Reagan, out of bounds. Notre Dame goal kick.
And shockingly, big Pat Berneski was there to knock it away. He's just so solid in the back and so solid in every type of situation, both defensively and offensively, where he's got 6 goals. Leading Notre Dame.
Turnbull the kick. It is a long boot headed by Jackson Reagan. Headed again by Philip Quentin. Controlled by Swike. Swike to Hallahan. Hallahan has in the middle now. Over on the right to Osman. Osman trying to create space to Hallahan in the middle. Hallahan has... No, Hallahan. Poor touch. And now it's a Notre Dame throw-in.
While that ball didn't reach the target, that was definitely the right idea. Michigan is going to need to switch the field
The Notre Dame substitution is number 3, Spencer
in order to
Ferreira.
penetrate this solid Notre Dame back line.
We now have a substitution. Felician Dumas comes out for Notre Dame. He's been down on the ground a couple times this game. And number 3, Spencer Farina, will come in. That's the second time we've seen him in this game. Quentin has the ball over to Farina on the right side. Kicked away by McCuna, and there seems to be a foul on the play.
Farina coming in adds even more height to this Notre Dame back line. This is really something that I haven't seen before ever in any soccer game that I've been to. The sheer ability to have so many big bodies in the back clogging up the box is truly something special.
Set piece taken by Austin Swike. Kicks it over to Jackson Reagan, who puts it down the left side to Marcelo Borges. Borges controlling over to Robbie Mertz, and kicked out. Oh, no, kicked over to the Notre Dame right winger. Omar with the ball now. Omar kicks it over to Thomas Euland, who puts it down the left side to Sean McLeod, and it will be a Notre Dame throw-in.
Notre Dame did a good job switching the field there, getting the ball from the back right to the front left in almost no time at all. This is a spot where Michigan really needs to stand their ground and not let another one of these sort of dead ball situations come back to bite them.
Farina the throw, headed away by Swike, and it is controlled by the big man, Paperneski, who will kick it out of bounds for a Michigan throw-in. Borges the throw-in to Kleke. Now Notre Dame's controlling the ball, going upfield. Challenged by Mertz, put it in the box.
Good defensive play there.
Notre Dame over to the right side. They were in threatening position there, but did not come away with the goal, and it will be a Notre Dame corner kick.
That's where Jackson Reagan is so valuable to this Michigan defense, the ability to just clog up the middle of the field, and he stood his ground. And one-on-one situations, oftentimes the defenders are at the disadvantage because they don't know where the offensive player is going to go with the ball, but he stood his ground quite nicely there.
Sean McLeod will take the corner kick. The kick puts it into the middle and goes to nobody, kicked away by Kleke.
It's the chance for Michigan to win this 50-50 in attack. They cannot.
Put down the right side. Notre Dame with the ball. A long pass deflected by McCuna.
Here's where the second ball is so important. They got the first
50-50
clearance.
ball. Won by Kleke. Over to Mohamed Zaki. Zaki on the right side. Over to Omar Osman. And Zaki boots it far left down the field to Marcelo Borges.
Good way to switch the field there.
Borges to Hallahan. Hallahan with the shot. Goal! Jack Hallahan ties up the game for the Michigan Wolverines.
And that was Hallahan's not favored right foot. You can tell he clearly wanted to try to get the ball on his left, but then he realized that it wasn't there for him. He made the smart play, switched to his right, and bent it into the bottom right corner of the net.
The score is now 1-1, a tie game due to the right foot of Jack Hallahan on that last play.
That was much needed for this Michigan Wolverines team. They started to look like nothing was going to go their way, but that completely and totally changes not only the pace, but the mood of the game.
We've resumed play. Long ball down the middle, headed away by McCuna. Booted by Farina, and it will go out of bounds for a Michigan throw-in by Austin Swike.
Yes, again, was it Michigan throw? Yes, it is. Never mind.
Swike on the throw-in. Headed away by Farina. And headed by Reagan over to Swike, and there's a whistle on the play.
You can kind of see a little more pep in the step of the Michigan Wolverines team. Now they're more inspired. They feel like they've got more of a shot, and they're going to try to put this game away. The tactics have changed. Previously, the set pieces being short. Now the goalie is motioning for them to all go upfield.
Mashburn, long ball down the field, headed by Omar, kicked away by Farina. McLeod with the ball.
Good 50-50.
50-50. Jack Lynn going down the field with the ball. He's blazing down the field. Michigan defenders all over him, but they can't seem to get away from him. And now it will go out of bounds for a corner kick, which will be taken by Sean McLeod.
The Wolverines do not agree with the call. They feel that it went off the Notre Dame attacksman. And this is such a dangerous spot, as Notre Dame is just so good in these set-piece situations. Let's watch out for Pat Berneski as he comes.
We now see 3 substitutions for the Fighting Irish. Number 15, Aiden McFadden. Number 10, Blake Towns. And number 7, Jack Casey. For number 29, Mohammed Omar. Number 22, Ian Asheris. And someone else. The corner kick, put into the middle, headed away. And a long boot that goes way over the net, not even close.
That was a bit overzealous. By Philip Quinton, the center back from Portland, Oregon.
Mashburn kicks it over to Jackson Reagan. Reagan back to Mashburn. Notre Dame starting to pressure. Mashburn over to McCuna. McCuna with the ball. Long boot to Kleedke. Kleedke over to Umar Osman. Osman has the ball on the right side of the field. He's trying to move forward. Over to Jack Hallahan, who seems to be pinned on the end line. And it will be deflected out by Spencer Farina for a corner kick, which will be taken by the lefty, Jack Hallahan.
Michigan is very aggressive here, lining up for this corner. They're bringing essentially everybody up, which I would agree with if they were still down a goal, trying to even up the game. But now that they're all
Hallahan with the kick, headed away by Notre Dame. Borges kicks it up, headed by Ibarra, and again by Lynn. Now Osman with the ball, kicks it over to Mohamed Zaki, who kicks it to Kleedke, back to Zaki. Zaki tries to cross it in, but no one is there, and it goes out of bounds.
That's the connecting plays Michigan Wolverines need to do more often. There's nice, quick 1-2s. That's you're going to penetrate this good back line of Notre Dame.
Goal kick for Duncan Turnbull. The kick by Turnbull. Long boot down the middle of the field. Headed by Ibarra. Headed again by the Notre Dame right back. Spencer Farina has the ball right now. Leads the Notre Dame left winger. And is deflected out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw-in. That will be taken by Spencer Farina.
This is about the same spot where Michigan conceded their first goal. Let's hope the back line holds up.
Farina, long throw into the middle, headed by Jackson Reagan, the big man in the middle. Headed again by Reagan. Headed again by McCuna. Out to Spencer Farina. Farina tries to pass, but it's taken away by Osman. Osman down the right side of the field. Passes it to Kleedke. Kleedke has it now. Kleedke's trying to cross it in. Passes it out to Austin Swike instead. Swike with the cross inside and headed away by the Notre Dame defender.
I'm not too sure how he was looking for. There was no one there but blue jerseys.
Jack Lynn with the header, controlled by Jackson Reagan, who boots it downfield and out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw-in.
We start to see a Michigan game plan developing offensively. Move the ball up in the middle of the field and play it out to the wing, then eventually look for a ball back into the middle. I like that strategy against this Notre Dame back line.
Farina with the throw-in, headed away by Swike. Kicked away by Towns, headed by Jackson Reagan. Towns has it now, and now Michigan is going the other way with Osman with the ball. Tackled by Towns, and now Notre Dame has it. Towns with the ball in the middle. No one seems to be challenging him. Over to the right winger.
Good composure here by Notre Dame.
Back to the defenders, and Pat Berneski will put it deep down the right side of the field. Mertz has the ball. Over to Ibarra, back to McCuna, who kicks it over on the right to Swike, pass to Hallahan, and it's taken away by Spencer Farina out of bounds. Michigan thrown.
Much of Notre Dame's game plan seems to be predicated on long through balls over the top.
Long throw by Swike to Kleeke. Kleeke can't quite control it. Towns takes it away. Berneski the kick. Headed away by Ibarra. Controlled by Towns. McCabe. Berneski. Headed by McCuna. Controlled by Towns. Hallahan steals the ball away. He's got it now. Kicks it over to the captain, Robbie Mertz. Down the left side of the field to Mohamed Zaki. Back to Jackson Reagan, who puts it down the left side to Marcelo Borges. Now Robbie Mertz. Bad touch to the Notre Dame defender. And now Notre Dame is going down the field. Jack Lynn, with that blazing speed, is just cutting through the Michigan defenders right now. Over on the right side to the right winger. Puts it in the middle. McCabe to Jack Lynn, who can't quite control it, and it's taken away by number 14, Robbie Mertz.
Michigan had the counter on there if they could just control it.
Jack Lynn with the ball again. Over to his teammate. Back to Jack Lynn.
Good
Kicked
clearance.
away by McCuna. Good clear for this Michigan defense.
That's just what I was talking about earlier. When you clear the ball, you need to clear the ball. Put your foot through it. Don't leave anything up to question, and he did just that there. Well done by McCuna.
The Notre Dame throne will be taken by Sean Diedrich. Diedrich throws it right to the head of Kleeke. Excuse me, Marcelo Borges. Zaki over to Hallahan. Can't seem to control it. Now he's got it. He's going down the field, and he just will not get through that last Notre Dame defender. Turnbull picks up the ball, and it is Notre Dame going the other way now.
Osman and Hallahan was not on the same page there. He was looking for Osman to keep running, play through ball, and Osman stopped.
Turnbull boots it down the field. Headed away by McCuna. Headed again by Blake Towns. Put up in the air by Ibarra. And Mohamed Zaki will pass it over to Marcelo Borges as Michigan tries to go the other way now. Marcelo Borges with the ball. Aggressive slide tackle, but he can't get it away from Jordan McCabe. McCabe over to Jack Casey. Now that is Austin Swike kicks it away. Notre Dame with the ball. It is kicked out of bounds for a Michigan throw-in.
Good win there by number 14, Robbie Mertz, their captain. Even though he's only 5'7", a little guy, he was not afraid to go in and use his body and win the ball out from the two larger Notre Dame opposers.
Borges with the throw-in. Headed away. Blake Towns has it. Over to Philip Quentin, who boots it down the middle of the field, only for it to be taken away by Daniel McCuna. Now that's Blake Towns with the ball, going down the left side of the field. Towns over to McFadden. McFadden in the middle to McCabe. And Jack Lynn has it in the middle now. Over to Towns. Towns trying to control it, and it's kicked out by Jackson Reagan. But Notre Dame is still in their offensive zone, and Jack Hallahan now has the ball, and he's going down the right side of the field. Kicks in the middle to Kleeke. He can't control it.
That was the right idea. They just couldn't connect, but if they keep up with nice plays like that.
Philip Quentin to Blake Towns. Towns has it in the middle now. Moving down the field. Kicks it back to the big man, Pat Berneski. Berneski shoots it down the middle of the field over to Jack Lynn. Jack Lynn has it now. Over to Notre Dame. Jack Casey in the middle of the field with the ball. Casey kicks it back out to Spencer Farina. Farina back to Philip Quentin. Quentin back to McCabe, and McCabe back to Berneski. Berneski has it now, and he passes it over to Blake Towns in the middle of the field, who passes it over to McCabe. Back to Towns. Back to Berneski.
This is nice, composed, build-up play by the Fighting Irish.
Berneski has the ball again. Over to the right side of the field. And now Notre Dame is moving in, and he is pushed to the ground by Daniel McCuna. You cannot do that in soccer.
You see the Wolverines with the hands on their heads complaining, but I don't think it's a bad call, sadly. He, as has been the case the entire game, has been the storyline. He extended his arms, and that's just simply the one thing you cannot do, especially inside the box. It was a mental mistake more than anything by McCuna. Let's see.
Notre Dame will now have a penalty kick taken by Sean McLeod, the senior from Troon, Scotland.
Let's see if Mashburn can play some mental games and guess properly the way.
McLeod about to kick. The kick. And he puts it in. 2-1, Fighting Irish.
Mashburn guessed right, and McLeod went left. It wasn't a perfectly placed kick, but it did the job.
Sean McLeod's penalty kicking goal now puts the Notre Dame Fighting Irish up by 1 goal in this game by a score of 2-1, with 22 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the half. You wonder, can the Wolverines even this one up once again?
It's important for Michigan to not begin to press, not begin to freak out. Yes, they do need to play more aggressive, but the clock is not their friend in this situation, and they do have a deficit. But they don't need a goal immediately. You know, 1 goal in the next minute versus 1 goal in the next 22 minutes and 18 seconds, it's the same effect.
You also had a substitution there, number 24, Lucas Rosendahl, for number 9, Mohamed Zaki.
Michigan needs to continue to play their game and not change up their game plan just yet because they're now at a deficit.
This is another throw-in for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And the throw down the line, headed away by Jackson Reagan, headed again by Robbie Mertz, and over to Ibarra, who can't seem to get it up, over to Borges. Kicked away by Berneski, headed by Ibarra. And Mertz trying to get away from Blake Towns right now. Kicks it over to Borges on the left side. Borges has it now. Over to Ibarra. Ibarra back to Jackson Reagan. Over to Daniel McCuna in the middle. McCuna with the ball. Trying to gain momentum down the field. Robbie Mertz with the ball. Mertz on the outside to Borges. Borges kicks it inside to Kleeke, but headed away by Pat Berneski.
That was some nice build-up play by the Wolverines. A shame that they had to just boot her up the field and waste it.
Jack Casey going down the field now. Kicks it on the outside to Aiden McFadden. McFadden with the ball. Back out to Spencer Farina. Farina over to McCabe. McFadden's down, but he gets back up. And it will be a Michigan throw-in taken by Austin Swike.
This is a dangerous spot in the field for a throw.
Swike throws it into Daniel McCuna. McCuna, a long boot down the field. Taken by Jordan McCabe. Jack Lynn down the field, and it's picked up by Henry Mashburn. This will not be the 3rd goal for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Mashburn throws it out to Borges. Borges to Mertz. Mertz back to Borges. Borges in the middle of the field to Ibarra. Ibarra kicks it down the right side of the field, down the halfway line to Jack Hallahan. Hallahan has his touch taken away by Spencer Farina, who kicks it to Aiden McFadden, keeping it in bounds. McCuna will get to it first. McCuna passed to Hallahan. Hallahan, the lone goal scorer for the Michigan Wolverines in this contest. Hallahan trying to get to the middle of the field, and he does with the pass to Robbie Mertz, but is quickly taken away by the Notre Dame defender.
That's the type of situation the Wolverines captain cannot give up.
That is the substitute Lucas Rosendahl, who just had the ball. Pass to Jack Hallahan. Hallahan shot and saved by Turnbull.
When the ball gets onto Hallahan's left foot, anything can happen. Even though that was not the best of strikes, he should keep shooting, and eventually it'll find the back of the net. Good shot there by Hallahan.
Hallahan almost had his second of the day right there and would have evened the contest once again, but it would not be. Turnbull, long boot, headed by Jackson Reagan, headed again by Daniel McCuna, and a third time by Mark Ibarra.
Hallahan is so deadly down the right side of the field because many people, there's a common misconception that lefty should play on the left and righty should play on the right in the attack. But when he can cut back in onto his deadly left foot into the middle of the field and strike, bending it into the top left corner, it's nearly impossible to stop.
Mashburn with a long kick down the field, headed for Kleeke, but he couldn't quite get it. Towns has it, and it is taken away by Swike. Hallahan with the ball again.
Good dummy.
Pass to Borges. Borges throws it in, and Kleeke couldn't quite get his head on it, but Michigan still has control. Kleeke with the ball now. Tries to pass it in, but no one's there, and it looks like it will be a goal kick for Notre Dame.
That's the importance of the second ball. Not that it was necessarily a second ball in the classic sense, but the first effort, Kleeke could not get his head on it, but he did not give up on the play and got it again and put the ball into the mixer and almost created a second goal for the Wolverines, the equalizer.
Also, two substitutions for the Fighting Irish here. 22, Ian Asheris, and 21, Thomas Euland, who scored the first goal for the Fighting Irish in this contest. Throw-in for Notre Dame, which will be taken by Spencer Farina. Farina throws it in. Way too far. And it will be a goal kick for Michigan.
Now, with about 15 minutes left in this contest, is when Michigan needs to start pressing, because it doesn't matter if they lose 2-1 or 10-1. A loss is a loss. They need to start moving some more men up the field and get a little bit more aggressive, possibly change up the formation and move people from the back to the midfield or from the midfield into the attack force. Now
we see number 9, Mohamed Zaki, return to the game for number 16, Noah Kleeke. McCuna with the ball. Over to Ibarra. Ibarra to Swike on the right, and Swike boots it downfield, headed by Philip Quentin, but it goes to the foot of Jack Callahan. Callahan over to Robbie Mertz. Mertz on the middle of the field, the shot, and it's way over the net. A little too much power on that one.
That was a good attempt. At some point, Michigan needs to just start putting their foot through it and put on goal what they can, because the Fighting Irish have not really given up too many easy scoring opportunities in this matchup.
Long kick by Turnbull, headed by McCuna, controlled by Callahan, and taken away by Euland. Now McCuna with the ball. Over to Ibarra, who kicks it over to captain Robbie Mertz.
Ibarra, not letting the clouds. Pressure got to him.
On the left side to Marcelo Borges. Borges to Rosendahl. Kicks it in the middle, taken away by Blake Towns. Towns boots it downfield, and it will be a Michigan throw-in.
Michigan continues to go for this low cross, but Notre Dame's defense is too tactically sound for that to work.
The throw-in will be taken by Marcelo Borges. And there seems to be a stoppage in play.
I believe it was something on the field.
Throw-in taken by Borges. Now there will be a set piece taken by Captain Robbie Mertz. Set piece taken by Mark Ibarra. We've seen Ibarra take most of these set pieces throughout this season, as they are one of his specialties. Let's see if he can even the contest for the Michigan Wolverines.
It would be wise to keep the ball away from the head of 6'3" Patrick Berneski.
Kicks it in, headed away by McCabe, and it would be another Michigan throw-in.
This is a similar situation as to how Notre Dame scored their first goal, a throw-in with essentially a corner kick. Let's see if Michigan can also capitalize.
The throw-in, headed by Farina, headed by McCuna, Osman, and it is put high in the sky and caught by Duncan Turnbull.
That's the important of those second, third, fourth, and even fifth balls. The first clearance was won by Notre Dame, but the play is far from over. They still took 3 or 4 more efforts to end up ridding of the scoring opportunity.
Turnbull drop kicks it way downfield, headed by Jackson Reagan to Mashburn, and it's scooped up by Mashburn.
Smart play by Reagan to use his head so his goalie Mashburn could use his hands.
The rollout to Swike. Swike passed to Hallahan. Hallahan has it now in the middle of the field. Puts it in for Rosendahl, but it is picked up by Turnbull before he get a chance.
So Notre Dame beginning to slow down the pace a little bit, taking their time with everything, trying to milk this lead.
Another long kick by Turnbull to Ian Ashiris. And it looks as if Michigan will have another throw-in. Swike the throw-in. Hallahan with the ball. And wins the battle. And Hallahan threw the ball off the face of defender Thomas Hewland.
That could be a card. That was not a smart play by Hallahan. He's lucky to get away with nothing there. That was not a smart play, especially from your team's leading scorer and best player. Michigan cannot afford to lose him in this match.
Sean Diedrich will throw it in for Notre Dame. He throws it over to Hewland, but it's controlled by McCuna, who kicks it out to Mashburn, and Mashburn will boot it down the field, headed by Towns. There's a whistle on the play.
That's an interesting case of offsides where he actually had to run back past the defenders to touch the ball. So I personally believe that offsides really isn't relevant there, and that's maybe a rule, a change they can make. But
Mashburn over to Jackson
important.
Reagan into the middle of the field for Robbie Mertz, who quickly gives it back to Jackson Reagan. Reagan with the ball now. Long pass to intended for Hallahan, but headed by Dietrich. 50-50 ball won by Notre Dame. Towns in the middle of the field. Long pass.
Good touch there.
Deflected by Reagan. Marcelo Borges has the ball now. Kicks it over to Robbie Mertz. Mertz trying to weave his way to the middle of the field. He kicks it to Rosendahl. And it will be a throw-in.
I believe they called offsides. Offside has been a bit of an issue for Michigan tonight. They've had a few scoring opportunities that they've given up in a mindless fashion, just running behind the Notre Dame defense. That's been a role forever. And
now we see number 29, Muhammad Omar, return to the game for number 7, Jack Casey, as well as number 5, Samake enter the game for Michigan. Throw in for Notre Dame. Long throw down the sideline. And it goes directly out of bounds, and Michigan will now throw the ball in.
we see a similar storyline in the second half as they do in the first half. Michigan is out shooting Notre Dame 4-2, but the scoreline still does not reflect it, with the total shots being 12 Michigan and 5 Notre Dame. But still, it's 2-1 in Notre Dame's favor.
Marcelo Borges, long throw, headed away by Spencer Farina, and it will be another Michigan throw-in. And you start to think, with about 10 minutes left in this contest, if the Wolverines can even it up.
They need to start changing their tactics, maybe changing their lineup, their strategy, their formation. In order to even it up, it's not just going to come to them. Their coach needs to make adjustments.
Long kick by Mashburn goes directly out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw-in, which will be taken by the junior Spencer Farina. Farina throws it in, and Michigan gets it right back. Kick to Mashburn. Mashburn, long boot down the middle of the field, will try to be controlled by Osman. Can't quite get it. Farina with the header. Out to Borges, and Borges kicks it out of bounds for a Notre Dame throw-in. it looks like there will be another sub for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish right now, as number 9, John Rio, will come in for number 15, Aiden McFadden.
Interestingly so, it looks like Michigan is currently dropping back 4 into the midfield as opposed to their original 4-3-3, which I don't totally understand considering they need to get another goal. More should be up top, if anything, not less.
Samake, McCuna over to Mashburn.
Good composure.
Kicks it out to Swike. Swike's boot is deflected by Blake Towns. Towns has the ball now, coming to the middle of the field, past to Omar, and it is quickly challenged by Robbie Mertz. McCuna gets the ball back, passes it down the left to Osman, who has his ball taken away by John Ria, the recently substituted player. Borges with the throw. And it is 3 headers in a row before the ball is on the ground. Borges to Osman. Osman has it on the left side of the field.
Poor touch by Osman. He needs to do more this game. He's got 8 minutes to prove why he's Michigan's leading goal scorer and leading points man. Let's see if he can step up when the spotlight's on him in the limelight.
This will be another goal kick for Notre Dame.
Let's look to Osman and Hallahan here in the final 8 minutes. It's when big-time players make big-time plays.
Turnbull with the long kick, and there is a whistle on the play. There will now be a set piece for Notre Dame taken by Tommy McCabe. McCabe the kick. Controlled by Marcelo Borges. With the pass to Jack Hallahan, he's swarmed and he can't quite get a good touch on it before it's taken back by Notre Dame. It looked as if Muhammad Omar pushed him down, and he did. There's a foul on the play. It does not look like this will be a card, though. It will not be. Mark Ibarra will take the set piece, the sophomore from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Interestingly so, Berneski is not on our big threat, number 25.
Ibarra's kick goes to nobody. Now there will be another Michigan throw-in.
It's a dangerous spot. If they can move the ball in, they can get a lucky bounce or two. This could be a tie ball game with the throw so close to essentially being a corner kick.
We may see a goal similar to Notre Dame's first in this contest.
That's right.
Headed by Jackson Reagan, can't quite get all of it.
Good play winning the second ball there by Notre Dame.
High by Blake Towns. Towns with the ball now. Pass out to Asheris. Asheris is going down the field, and he's tripped up by the Michigan defender,
I believe it
Mark
was
Ibarra.
Yep. Only 6 minutes left for Michigan to put in an equalizer. They really need to start pressing.
The set piece will be taken by Tommy McCabe. McCabe, short pass, which goes right back to him. Now a long kick down the field, which goes to nobody. Headed again by McCabe, and Michigan can't quite control it now, and it will go out of bounds for a corner kick for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
This is where head coach Shaka Daly really can set himself apart from the pack. He can turn his team from being good to being great if he can make the right maneuvers here in the final 5 to put in the equalizer. What tactical strategies can they implement now that they have not been using for the entirety of the game to level a score?
The corner kick will be taken by Tommy McCabe, the junior from South Orange, New Jersey. McCabe, the kick, puts it to the middle, headed by Philip Quentin, but to no avail.
We've put such a stressed impact on Michigan's set pieces in this game, how they can stop Notre Dame's attack. And with the exception of one mishap, they have done a pretty good job. There really have not been all that many chances on goal, besides, of course, the one that went into the back of the net.
Mashburn's kick goes far down the field. And it is controlled by, oh, no, it is not. It's taken away from Marcelo Borges. And now Notre Dame's charging down the field. McCuna beats him to the ball, though, and it's scooped up by Henry Mashburn. That was almost a scary opportunity for the Fighting Irish.
Good communication there by McCuna and Mashburn. You often see a defender and the goalie running at each other, butting heads, and actually physically hitting each other. Go for the talk there and have
Mashburn long boot. Kicked by Mertz, which is deflected by Hallahan to Sean Diedrich. And there's a stoppage in play. Michigan really needs to pick up the pace here as we're closing in on 4 minutes left in this contest. They need to keep the aggression up if they want to equalize this game. Mashburn long kick. Headed by Jackson Reagan, and there's a Notre Dame player on the ground. Quickly back up, though.
You see McCuna and Berneski there exchanging words, but I think Berneski took a dive there. He was barely touched, and the 6'3" center back fell to the ground like a fish. It should take a little more than that.
That foul results in a Notre Dame goal kick, which will be taken by Turnbull, of course.
The Michigan crowd seems to agree with me that Berneski may have exaggerated the situation there.
Head out of bounds by the Michigan
chanting in his direction.
Left back, and it will be a throw-in for the Fighting Irish. Thrown in, headed by McCuna. And Mertz, long kick. Controlled by the Michigan left winger. Hallahan tried to get to it, but couldn't. And it goes right back to the Notre Dame goalkeeper, Duncan Turnbull.
He's taking a sweet time picking up the ball. It's a solid tactic. Maybe waste 5 or 10 seconds here, 5 or 10 seconds there, but that can all add up with minimal time left and a lead advantage.
The clock is certainly winding down on the Wolverines as Turnbull puts a long boot down the field, which Marcelo Borges is pushed to the ground, and it will be Michigan's ball.
You see Mashburn here with a little bit more of a purpose, trying to motion his team outfield and have a last chance effort at equalizing this game.
Long kick by Henry Mashburn, the sophomore from Western Florida. And there's a foul on the play.
This game has gotten more chippy, winding down to the final moments, the intensity picking up.
You've seen a lot of whistles in the past minute, 2 minutes or so.
It's been a slow last 5 minutes of this game.
Mark Ibarra lines up for the set piece. Ibarra puts it in, headed away. Swyke runs to the ball. He's got a Notre Dame defender right on his back. Thomas Euland, one of Notre Dame's goal scorers. And Swyke pushes Euland to the ground. And now Sean Diedrich is lining up for the set piece.
You see Notre Dame walking up the field, taking their time, passing the ball backwards. And the referee is now telling them not to do so.
Tommy McCabe lines up for the kick.
Through their tricks.
McCabe right to Swyke, who kicks it out to Samake, over to Mashburn. Mashburn, long boot that it was intended for Osman and gets to Osman. Osman trying to work his way down the field now. Back to Borges. They have to pick up the urgency now if they want to tie this game up.
You see number 25, Jackson Reagan, usually a center back, playing more up now. They're setting.
And now there's a fight for it. And it looks like it will be won by Omar, who just boots it downfield to waste more time. The race is won by Samake, but Ian Asheris is following close behind. Mashburn over to McCuna.
Get the ball at the field.
McCuna, long boot to Jackson Reagan.
45
Can't
seconds
quite
left in
get
the
it.
game.
As the clock starts to wind down, can these Michigan Wolverines tie this contest with the little time they have left? Blake Towns down the left side of the field.
Half a minute left.
Notre Dame just in total control right now. Blake Towns with the ball. And it will be a Michigan throw-in. They have to hurry up
Michigan
now.
has 15 seconds to get the ball up the field and into the net.
Can these Michigan Wolverines do it? Robbie Mertz, the captain, over to the
10 left.
star standout, Omar Osman. Osman down the field, trying to get a shot on goal. And he almost crossed it over to Mohamed Zaki, but Zaki can't quite get his foot on it.
That was so close.
And unfortunately, the score of this one will end Notre Dame Fighting Irish 2, Michigan Wolverines 1.